the name Flanagan a lot. Okay, so welcome to You Pick Gaming. If you're just tuning in for the first time, we hope that you enjoy the show that we have in store for you tonight. We're going to be playing our campaign, our Valendor campaign, which has been running for, hold on, we're going to take it way back here, about a year and a half now?
Oh wait, October is when we started. December, January, February, March. Almost
about a year and a half now we've been running. And currently the players are level 7, yes, which is awesome. We are down one player, and we just recently had another player have to step out due to life things, but we miss her very much already. Other than that, is there anything that you guys need before we get started? Anyone other than Nessa?
I mean, let's see. I should probably drop the splash so they can see our wonderful faces.
Wonderful faces.
Oh, I've been making faces this whole time.
Yeah. Also,
and they were full.
OBS
you missed it.
Was displaying twice the desktop audio, so I hope that doesn't come out super weird on stream, but it should be fine.
It will.
Yep.
Okay. So, does anyone need anything before we get started?
See that? Was it backwards? I don't know how life works.
No, it's the right way for us.
Okay. I don't, personally.
Okay. Cool.
Not that I could have anyway.
Let's go ahead and do a brief recap of what happened last session. Does Silver want to do it?
Skyla has 2 pet dragons.
Alaric
has a pet fox.
That's because Oh my gosh!
I figured.
One of the dragons was for Silver.
Oh! I knew it.
And
you're muted.
You were muted. You muted yourself.
Damn it! The other one's from Keeley, who's not here.
Gosh dang it.
All my plans are ruined.
I suspected this.
The one Silver is just supposed to fly behind me until it deflates.
Oh!
Okay.
Like my heart.
That's awesome.
I tried.
I love it. What do we want? This is a little bit of a downer music here.
Oh, my nose.
Well, let's try this one.
Guess in terms of the recap, someone else should probably do it because I only took notes for the part where Corrin was conscious, which was
also conscience.
But so that's like maybe a third of the session.
And Ryan wasn't here or Alaric was checked out for most of it as well.
Yeah.
So pretty much of the people that are here, does Nessa or Skyla want to recap?
I can do my half. You'll do your half.
That would be good.
That's. Let's just do it. Someone, 1, 2, 3.
Well, Nessa went to the university with Alaric to meet up with a professor to find out what the heck she is, and that happened. And there were details, and then we went back. And
what were you?
Oh, we don't know yet.
In order to talk about the professor, you have to say his full name. It's
okay. There was Percival
von
Frederickstein von Kowalski to roll the third. Archibald Grayson Theobaldopoulos Frank
Candyland
7.
Monopoly.
The professor of arcane provenance, Archibald Theophilus Pennington Ethelbert Grayson the 7th.
Ethelbert, I always forget that one.
So does he.
Oh.
So does everyone in the university.
What is in my water? Ew.
It's probably shame.
What is going on there?
That's
self-deprecation.
No, like if you see on stream in like 20 seconds, I'm just moving my mouse over, and suddenly Corrin's biopic is there, and that's just from like mousing over.
Nope.
Sorry, when you say biopic, I'm thinking you're talking about like a film, like
precisely.
It's awesome.
I mean, he has.
Corrin's got a straight to Netflix documentary coming out, a little biopic about Corrin. Like, behind the green.
Behind the green. Behind the scenes with Sutek.
So, Nessa, what else happened?
Oh, sorry, I was actually bringing up Twitch so I could see what was happening, but I was too late. So then Alaric and Nessa went back to the boat and hung out. I believe we were followed again briefly by somebody in a chalky gray, you might say ashen cloak. And then we went back to the boat and did things. Details.
This is the best recap.
I'm trying to because I have a tendency to go into all the details, so never mind. That's all.
Okay. So last time on Valendor, Nessa and Alaric went to meet the professor at the university to discuss basically where her magical gifts come from, because she isn't 100% sure. Alaric spent a lot of time in a hallway cleaning up and reading highlights magazines, while Nessa went into what was once a storage closet and spent a lot of time basically just casting spells into various arcane measuring devices to try and figure stuff out. There was a couple things that were gleaned from that, and then they returned and they suspected they were being followed, but they weren't exactly sure. While all this was going on, Kaylee was running around town and making new friends with a group, essentially a type of thieves guild that works out of Sapphire City, that's new in town, and was basically she was directed that way by her contact Chandler, who runs the Rambling Rock. The Rambling Rock. I knew I had it somewhere. The Rambling Rock Tavern. She was trying to purchase some thieves' tool, disguise kit type things. They offered to trade for the service of stealing something from a local museum of sorts. While that was going on, Skyla was off running around town, buying amalgams and party favors.
Well, I was on my way to the expo, but shiny, sparkly things caught my attention, so as the way is Skyla. And then the balloon things reminded me that Alaric needed amalgams, so I ran off to the amalgam store. But I will be going back to the expo.
There you go. And while all that was going on, Corin was spending the day...
Is that accurate?
Yep.
Pretty much.
Oh, not for me, but maybe. Oh.
I can't see stream.
Yeah, on stream it's correct.
Okay.
Man, I guess I have to watch us.
Because we don't have our names in Roll20, so...
Yeah.
Hopefully that's helpful.
Yep. So while all that was going on, everyone basically split up and did their own thing. Meanwhile, Corin, who had made a deal in the Feywild, unbeknownst to the rest of the party, spent the day having an out-of-body experience while he was on loan to this Fey presence, doing something that no one actually knows quite what was going on, not even himself. He awoke much later with a burnt and singed hand. And he will be exploring, I'm sure, that whole situation a little bit further. At the end of all that and during all that, our party member, Silver, the tiefling cleric of fortune, or fortune-telling type cleric, gave all of the party members a bit of a parting gift of a taste of their future before having to step away from the party for an extended amount of time, except for Nessa, who doesn't like her personal space violated. And I think that about sums everything up.
Yeah. I'm also cursed. But no one knows.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't talk about that, though. So
It's not confirmed either. We don't
it's
know.
not.
Well,
It's definitely not confirmed. You all say curse. You throw the curse word out. At the
I don't throw
slightest-
curse words out, guys. I know. I
No,
don't
you
do
keep them for your own personal use.
that. Near and dear to me.
Yeah, you guys jump at the curse. That's the first thing you go to.
There were saving throws that were failed. There was confirmation of how many.
Yeah.
I'm just very concerned.
3 of them.
I know. Oh, I know.
All right. So, you guys spent the night on the ship. Alaric getting accustomed to his new animal that will quickly be forgotten that it even exists.
Hey.
It already happened.
Okay.
Oh.
Fair enough.
But in the meantime, I'll wait till we sleep before I do any animal stuff. So.
Yeah, and then to Ian, we recently put Moobot into play, and we're kind of still playing with how aggressive it is. So we apologize that you got slammed so hard for your first encounter
offense,
in here.
yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for coming to watch us live.
Hey. Also, we slaughtered Moobot, so
Yeah, we
Gonna have
killed
some
Moobot,
fine-
and we're actually
fine digital
having
burgers.
we're having Moobot burgers later. If you guys would like to
Want to
join
stick
us.
around after the game?
Yeah, stick around.
That's awesome.
So at break, we do have the announcement of the winner of our contest on Twitter, the set of dice for the D&D drink recipe contest that we ran on Twitter, which we're super excited about. Other than that, and anyone has anything else to do, talk about, you guys want to recap on anything else, we're going to get started. No? Good. Okay, so you guys said your goodbyes to Silver aboard the still, as of yet to be named and agreed upon ship that you stole. It
doesn't have any owners anymore. It's not stolen.
So you assume.
It was given by someone else who didn't own it, with
It
caveats.
was given freely to us by someone that had no right to give it. Okay. So you said your goodbyes to Silver. You tucked in for the night to do your various things. Is there anything you wanted to do before calling it a night?
Not before turning into some private abode to figure out WTF happened.
Okay. What exactly do you want to do to accomplish figuring out WTF happened?
Trying to call up that green light again and seeing if I can discern what it does.
Okay, go ahead and give me you can either give me an Arcana check or a medicine check because of what you saw it used for.
I am much better at medicine.
Okay, so as you're kind of focusing on this and you're trying to bring it to light, you manage to get this kind of like green dancing light. It borders on almost looking like a flame, but it's more reminiscent of kind of like a mist or a haze that coalesces along your fingers, and you begin trying to just recreate some of the effects of it. And as you do, I'm gonna assume Corin, being a druid, being kind of a man of the earth and stuff like that, probably has a fair amount of scars or things on his hands or arms from various things.
Yeah.
As you begin to just kind of wave your hand over your other hand, you begin to see the scars kind of like just disappear slowly. You know that a lot of like magical healing and repair and stuff like that, it can do a lot to quickly heal a wound up, but it doesn't. I mean, that like super fast healing can often leave like really nasty scars, and you guys have seen this before, like with the effects from the tree holder in the Feywild and stuff like that. And obviously, most natural forms of healing leave these scars as well. And this seems to be something to do with Sutek's like shape-shifting ability. It's a type of magic that can repair that sort of damage.
Okay.
So you can actually add that in as a feature if you want. It's basically magical plastic surgery.
Okay, I will put that in as that for now until
Yeah.
you tell me what it actually is. Oh, that was a mistake. All the spells are expanded.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, Sutek just keeps getting creepier and creepier.
How do I condense this?
Yeah.
now?
You would have to probably spend a little bit of time to kind of expand the limits of this and see exactly where they go. But it is definitely something that is something that catches your interest a little bit. All right, and then anyone else? Alaric, Nessa?
I'm just working on Alaric's armor until I'm like, oh, gee, I should go to sleep.
Okay. All right. So
Do you sleep on the boat? Just on the top of the deck. I was like,
out in the open.
It's like
Nah.
it's like one of those little characters that you have in those city builder games or something.
Oh,
when you-
yeah.
when you don't make enough beds and they just pass out on the floor
Are
somewhere.
you talking about oxygen not included?
No, because they all die horribly.
Oh, well, I mean,
Don't
this
wanna
is
go there
Nessa,
yet.
so
Yep.
yeah.
I went back to my bunk.
Okay.
So,
All right. So go ahead and give me. Do you have like a craft skill or something that's in there?
I have Smith's tools.
Yeah. Do you have that as a thing, or is
Smith
it?
is probably going to want those back at some point.
They're mine, yo.
Ha
Ha ha ha ha.
ha 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 ha.
Yeah. If you want to give me a smithing check.
Okay, with what skill?
Smithing. I would say dexterity
But
or probably strength based.
a
For what smithing is. Actually,
It's just
I
a
do
leather
have to,
part,
like-
right?
yeah, if it's leather. So give me a wisdom.
still not. That's still not good. I'm not wise at all.
Hey,
Oh come on! It looks like a 20 to me. Rude.
And you added your proficiency?
Yeah.
That's
Ooh.
awesome. All right.
So upset.
You
I'm
go
never getting my
through
arm
you go
back.
through a couple. Yeah.
I just tore it apart and like stripped. I
just
was like, I
falls
think this is how
apart.
you do it.
Oh, and then
Um,
it starts like a Full House episode where you try to hide the fact that you ruined my armor and you try to give me a replacement set and hijinks. Okay. Anyway, sorry.
You
Continue.
you never leave the city. It's not so much that you're like you can possibly do damage to the armor. I mean, you know your way around this sort of stuff. It's hard to work with this material. The leather that is there is a bit like, while it's well kept, it's older. You find yourself instead of being able to repair that well enough to your satisfaction, you're actually having to take off more than you thought and replace it with newer stuff. So essentially what was a 4 to 6 hour job, you're probably looking at just the time that you've put in. There's still another probably like 4 to 6 hours to go, so probably another half day or so.
I should have anticipated this, seeing how it was burned with acid. But
Yeah.
cool. Then I just go to bed.
Okay. All right, Alaric.
Hi.
They really like it in original condition.
Yeah. No, just take my new little friend and just kind of. I suspect I'd probably try to find a basket or something and put a little bit of fabric at the bottom and just set it down there and I'm like, all right, go to sleep. Sleep now, and then, get into my. I guess is it like are the bunks like hammocks basically in the ship?
No. So this is a bit of a nicer ship. There's There's like the captain's quarters, which are really, really nice. I mean, you're talking like, the suite. But the crew quarters are actually surprisingly nice. They're better than some of the hotel rooms you guys have stayed in. They're pretty well furnished. The beds are extremely comfortable. It's pretty snazzy. You guys boosted a pretty nice ship. Most sailors probably don't serve on a ship this nice.
Okay. Well, I'm in the crew's quarters and just settle down the little feller. I don't know if it's a gal or a guy yet. Don't know how do you check with Malcolms.
Make an animal handling. No.
No.
Oh, please don't.
Go to sleep now.
Just go to bed.
Cough, please.
No, so if you're trying to get it to go to sleep, go ahead and give me an animal handling check, though.
All right.
Oh my gosh, I hope it keeps Alaric up all night.
It's like just too real. There's a little bit of like rambunctiousness. You wake up, you hear like something dragging around, and you see it like grabbing your scabbard and pulling your sword across the, and you have to go and you realize you realize, man, maybe I should like pick all this stuff up and hang it up, and maybe I shouldn't leave my boots there kind of moment. But after a while, it settles down in the spot and seems pretty content.
Let's see if I have anything in my inventory that I can have as a toy.
Okay.
I don't know. No, you know what I'm gonna do? First thing I'm gonna do.
Take this nice cursed mace and go play with
Okay.
it in the corner.
First thing I'm gonna do before I do any of this, I notice it. I don't notice it when I first get him, but on the way down to the lower deck, I realize I have a foxtail from Skyla, and I quickly hide that in my pack. And I'm going to give it. I'm gonna cut off like 5 feet of my hempen rope, and then just like tie off the ends into like some knots, and then
all right.
It's gonna have that as a toy.
It has that swinging around, smacking on things. But eventually it settles down, and it's had a long day. It quiets out. For those of you just joining us that don't know, the Malgums are essentially magical creatures that have been blended with like domestic creatures to create some sort of kind of like fantastical pet. And they often get forgotten. But now they have a ship that they can leave them on, so it's great. So he settles down, goes to sleep. For Skyla, anything else? Or Alaric, if you're just going to bed.
Yeah, I'm just gonna try and have some good dreams.
All right.
Roll for
Skyla.
good dreams.
Okay, well, first, Skyla, realizing that she never got to give Silver her little dragon, is going to, she's going to go into, the quarters, try to figure out where Kaylee's sleeping, and tie the one that she bought for Kaylee, like, near her bed post. And then she's going to grab a blanket off of a unoccupied bed and head up to the crow's nest and curl up there and tie her little dragon for Silver, like, on one of the sails.
All right. Someone asked what they look like. I'm going to show to players. I don't know if that popped up for you. All right, so that's Yave. That is our bard's cat-like dragon. Let's see. Here is Fluffy, a strange, unknown furry creature mixed with what appears to be a dog.
So Fluffy did not pop up.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I see it, but maybe that's because it's mine.
Yeah, I don't see.
Let me double check. You should be able to see it. You should be able to go into the handout
There
and
we
see
go.
it.
Now I can
Okay.
see it.
Okay, and that is Fluffy. Fluffy and Yave were acquired by the party basically as like prizes at a festival, and they were kind of just like the last two on the shelf. And as they traveled to Sapphire City, they found out that creating Malgums has actually been outlawed. So it's not illegal to own them, but making new ones is illegal. And then Amalgam for Alaric doesn't actually have a picture on it yet, and a name. So Alaric can go ahead and edit that in. But we do have that picture somewhere. There it is. There's a link that we can pop up in the chat.
This is currently just a sleepy little fox.
Yep.
Wangs?
With wangs.
Because we gave the grown-up picture, right?
Where's the
Ryan,
picture at?
you're muted, Ryan. I'm sorry.
That explains why no one's responding to anything I've said.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like that with wings, basically. There was a picture earlier, but I need to
There was
grab
a picture somewhere, but
I almost have it. I'll pop it up in a second.
Okay,
Nice.
no problem.
kinda
So
scary.
these creatures are basically magical pets, and they were outlawed. They found out, and they've been the owners of the pets, the ones in the party, have been at least told or learned that Malgams, because of their magical nature, and they're a bit unstable. If they're exposed to the wrong kinds of magic, i.e., if you feed them something that's magical, it can actually disturb that like delicate balance of cute domestic animal that is balancing out the ferocious magical beast that it came from. And when that happens, a lot of times no one knows exactly the result is gonna be. Well, there were certain individuals that were buying these creatures and purposefully doing this in order to fight them. And so Malgam creation was outlawed because it was deemed to be cruel and unusual. So, yeah, and don't feed them after midnight or get them wet.
But it's always after midnight.
It's always after midnight. That's why you can never feed them. Ever.
Oh, see, that's why we don't, Robert. We don't forget. We just know the rules.
Oh, Skylar just feeds them whenever with whatever, and that's why Fluffy's a little bit bigger now.
Yeah, and Fluffy was fed some food in the Feywild, and he started growing uncontrollably. Just like some other things they found in the Feywild.
I'm not concerned.
Okay, so
you
Skyla, what are you doing now? You're just tying those things off and then going to bed?
Yeah, so I was gonna just tie the one for Silver, like, on maybe just, like, wherever she can on the crow's nest, and then curl up there and fall asleep.
Alright.
That's her bedroom now.
This is where I live now.
That's mine. This is my space.
There's a mattress up there. Okay, so you guys finally settle in for the night. Eventually, falling asleep one by one. It's a pretty peaceful night. You guys don't really hear too much out on the docks. As usual, Bribus is up pretty early in the morning, getting things ready, stowing them away. As he's finishing things up, as you all wake up in your respective turns, he goes and talking to Kaylee first and foremost, explaining that he has found a few potential crew members and would like one of you to accompany him at the very least, to just kind of vet them a little bit. So him and Kaylee are going to go and do that. If anyone else wants to, they can, unless you all have other things to do for the day.
I mean, I want to go, but I don't know when my appointment with Archibald Theopolis Ethelbert is.
You get the impression that he didn't really tell you a specific time.
Oh yeah, he didn't again.
Yeah.
Come back tomorrow. Close his door. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Cool. Well, then I'm gonna go with.
Okay. All right. So you go ahead and team up with them. Is there anyone else? Basically, eventually, you all wake up. You're having breakfast. You're doing specific things like that, and go.
Oh, boop. Please. Nope. That was exciting.
Yes. I think
I'll just follow. Sorry.
Yeah, and I would also go participate in the crew interviews.
Okay. Skyla? Alaric?
Skylar, you first.
I'm going to go to the expo today because I was gonna go yesterday, but I got distracted.
Well, have fun.
Okay.
I think we have enough pets, but you're an adult now. You can make adult decisions. So
Well, I don't know.
Do what you
Nessa
will.
and I don't have Malcolms yet, but
Corin, you kind of are a Malcolm, a little bit.
The
bit.
expo is not where the pets were. The expo is the Sapphire City on occasion has essentially it's a an open forum for people that are in the city researching things, doing stuff like that to trot out their discoveries, their inventions, and like in all honesty, it's kind of like hey, support my Kickstarter. Yeah, so it is what it is. It lasts for a couple days. You guys have heard of it since you've been here, so it might be on the last like 1 or 2 days. But there are various people, and from what you've understood, like there's a huge turnout. That's where everyone's been going every day that you've been in town. That they're kind of like walking through the town in drones.
All right, actually, that piqued me. I'm going expo with you, Skylar.
All right, when we get back, Alec, are we going to run the guards through their paces?
Yes.
All right, just checking. Okay, bye.
Bye.
I'm just going to follow Brivis.
All right. Okay, so Corin, Corin, Nessa, Kaylee, and Bribis head off. Nessa looking very happy about that decision.
Sorry, that was unrelated.
Oh, okay. You guys basically head off and go to the Rambling Rock to meet various members that Bribis has scheduled different meetings with throughout the day, and you guys are basically job interviewing, and there'll be lunch and stuff like that. Oh, all right. Yeah. So, Skyla and Alaric, as you guys are heading out, is there anything you want to do along the way?
I'm fine.
Not really.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you guys head out through the city. It's still fairly early. There are people that are making their way over towards the auditorium area where the expo is held. But it's not as like massive drones, and a lot like some people are dragging like carts of things or pushing little trolleys with stuff on it that's covered up by tarps and whatnot. A couple people that are going are like walking, and then they just have this like what looks like a pallet that's floating behind them carrying stuff. So it looks like most of the people that are heading there are the people that are going to be setting up for the day. There aren't like large crowds that are drawing in just yet.
Do we need to roll for the innervation?
Yes, you do. Thank you.
You're welcome. What's the thing?
It is a
Constitution?
No, I think it's a wisdom saving throw. I just had it pulled up. I should know this.
Is it a fresh save every day, or if you
It's every morning.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so when you guys go to sleep at night, the effects wear off after a long rest, and then when you wake up, so it's a wisdom save for everyone. Thank you. You're like the kid in class that's like, oh, you forgot to hand out homework.
That's
can
me.
We say, would this have happened when I was close to everybody in the morning?
I am so wise, you guys.
Yeah, it's when you first wake up. So if they're
Good,
within
I
10
rolled a
feet of where
9.
you sleep,
I rolled opposite of Corin.
that's awesome.
Cool.
No.
Okay, and then for Kaylee, I will just roll a d20 and see what happens. I'm not exactly sure. I think she passes that, though.
With a
okay.
plus 3 to hers. Plus 2 for me, not plus 3.
And how far is your thing? Is it 30 feet?
It's 30 feet, so I don't know if we're sleeping that close or not, but...
She has a wisdom of +1. With a +3, yeah, you guys would be within 30 feet of each other. So with a +3, she just makes it. So, let's see. Corin and Kaylee wake up feeling pretty decent.
Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. It's 10 feet. It grows to 30 feet, like, several levels from now. Sorry.
Okay. I would say that, like...
Probably not within 10 feet.
Yeah, probably not within 10 feet.
Yeah, we're not that close.
Not that close. Maybe one person if they're on the other side of the wall. Okay, so, aside from Corin, you all wake up feeling kind of just... exhausted, drowsy. You feel like almost like you've been up working part of the night. For everyone that casts spells, you do expend the highest one level of the highest spell slot that you can cast. If you don't cast spells, you get 1 point of exhaustion.
Sure hope we don't get in any fights.
Yep.
Not me. Bring it on.
Bring it on, Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nar?
Okay. So you guys go, as you get to the Rambling Rock, the door is locked and closed. Bribus kind of knocks on it. After a short amount of time, a very just like worn out, drowsy looking Chandler opens up the door. He's like, all right, yeah, we talked about this last night. Come in. I set aside some stuff for light. We talked about it, and Bribus just kind of like, okay, and Chandler kind of wanders off back to bed, essentially. And Bribus has kind of secured this to meet with people throughout the day, even though they're not open typically. But it's inside, out of prying eyes and stuff like that. And you guys sit and wait for the first person to show up. There's some stuff to eat. If you're feeling it, you could probably grab a thing to drink. But it's pretty early.
Eh.
All right. As Alaric and Skyla are walking along, is there anything in the city that you wanted to see? Or are you guys heading just straight to the expo?
I would try to be as least distracted as possible and head there if I can, unless Alaric's like, hey, let's look at that.
Is there anything interesting along the way?
I mean, it's literally like the magic capital of the world. So a lot of the stores are opening up. They're bringing out their wares. There's potion shops. There's weaponsmiths. There are all sorts of things. Almost everywhere you look, it's like just flooded with magic. Like to the point of a blacksmith has a wooden sign that might say blacksmith on it. This actually has like a floating anvil with a magical hammer like hitting the anvil and sparks coming off of it. And so there are things that almost like it basically, it's like if you're in New York City and you want to find something, you probably could.
Are there any breakfast pastry places that seem magically delicious?
Yes, there are. There is actually a shop run by a halfling that is all the rage in the Sapphire City.
Okay.
And as we head over there, for those of you paying attention in chat, if you can think up the best magical pastry shop name for a halfling-run pastry shop, that will make its way into the game. So you guys go ahead and head that direction.
So I'll basically just offer to buy Skyla something. I don't know if she's tried these kinds of foods. Says I know she's been to the city some, but just want to... I guess I'm looking for something that maybe I had when I was younger. And I know she's not a child, but she is like a little... She is like a little sister, so I kind of want to treat her to something.
Oh, my heart. Okay. I'm not going to cry.
Me neither.
Get out of here, Lindsay.
Okay, bye.
Okay. So you eventually make your way over there to Sweetie Pie's. First one I saw. So Sweetie Pie's pastry shop, run by a halfling named Pie.
It was a perfect circle.
Yeah. He looks a little bit like Evac.
Oh, jeez. Rotund.
Rotundly walking around the shop. The shop looks like it's actually probably been open a lot longer than most of the places. The smell is kind of wafting through the air. As you guys head down that direction, when you go in, there are like trays that are up on the counter that are kind of just hovering and spinning slowly in a circle, loaded down with pastries. There are glass cases that are filled with different types of bread and rolls and stuff of that nature, and it goes all the way from hearty all to like super decadent. There's a very small section off on the side that is non-magical regular old pastries, but everything else has like glowing sparkling sprinkles on it, all that stuff. And then there is a large, sitting up on the counter, there's this large kind of extravagant looking machine, and all it says on the side of it is magical potion, or like magic potion. And it's just this huge, like large extravagant machine.
And I'll just first wait and see wait for a moment and see if Skylar has any sort of immediate reaction. If there's anything that stands out to her. Actually, I'll probably just let her just look around and not really try to guide her in any way, and just I'll go to the shopkeep and just be like, so, what's your specialty? What is ever... We're, I'm sorry, I'm doing the wrong voice for this, but I've forgotten.
Pretend you're Nessa.
Yeah, I'll pretend. No, I actually think Alec just forgot. We'll just say he forgot.
While he was playing Monty?
Yeah, while he's playing Monty. He's dressed like Monty, but he is talking like... Yeah, he's
Alec.
We're new in the city, and I just wanted to... Well, since we won't be here that long, what's the one thing we have to try while we're here?
People come from all around, say that the magic potion's all the rage. I definitely recommend a cup of that. Goes good with anything else in the shop. If you're looking for something sweet, got about everything you could want over there. If you're looking for something savory, got about everything you want over there. So, I personally like the rolled cinnamon over there. It's great. Don't like the one with the raisins in it, but I make them because some folk do. But those are probably my favorite. 2 kinds of icing. They're both good. Both good, but...
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah?
What are raisins?
Don't worry about them, Skylar. Don't worry at all. They're like the frogs of fruits.
Oh, I don't want that then.
No one in their right mind does. Especially not in the pastry, right?
Absolutely
what about
not.
A cinnamon roll? I'm not there. Don't mind me.
Nope, not even there, Corin, who's not here.
Did you hear Corin's voice? Corin?
Sutex like raisins in the cinnamon rolls, okay?
Yeah,
that's who likes it.
Sutek could choke on raisins.
Like 70 raisins,
I hope
okay?
he does. Oh my gosh, can you...
So, yeah, so...
Raisins are undead grapes. That's the best.
So, so we'll have your best raisinless pastries, and we'll have 2 magic potions.
So you want the rolled cinnamon?
Does that sound all right with you? Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No, I'm talking to
That's what
Skylar.
he was. Okay, that's what he was
Yeah.
talking about. And basically what he shows you are just like cinnamon rolls that are about the size of his head. Like they're just those giant cinnamon rolls. And there's one that looks like it has some sort of, I mean, outside of the game, it looks like it has some sort of caramel kind of coating on the top of it. And the other one that looks like it has like a cream cheese coating on the top of it.
Oh, Lathander, damn it.
Dang these hips, Lathander.
Yes, 2 of those. And do you have a to-go box, just in case I don't finish it all?
I could wrap it up for you if you want.
Yes, please.
All right,
And-
no problem. And he kind of just jumps back behind the counter, begins wrapping this stuff up, and then he said, "And you said 2 magic potions?"
Yes.
All right, no problem. and being like the grown. He's like, I don't have a cup for you to take with you with those, but they're rather small. If you want to just drink them before you go.
Oh, sure, that's fine.
And he begins like pulling on these levers and like pushing on things, and he like pushes something in, and the steam kind of like comes out the top, is like, and this just begins coming to life, and there's bubbles popping off of it, and it's kind of like Willy Wonka-ish in a little bit. It looks a little over the top. As it begins going, he wraps all this stuff up. Oops, and sorry, I was typing something in, and I accidentally typed the wrong thing. So he begins getting all that together for you. He wraps it up. He puts the cinnamon rolls up on the counter, and then he gets two kind of small-looking mugs. They almost look like miniature mugs, and he puts them underneath this tap, and he pulls on it, and he goes and fills it up with this kind of dark, steamy liquid, and hands the cups over to you.
Skylar. Yeah. Cheers.
What is it?
That'll be 2 gold.
2 gold. You have it. 9. And I'll give him 3 gold.
All right.
Fancy. What's in this?
It's magic potion. It's the best way to start everyone's day.
Is it coffee?
Are you guys giving Skyla coffee right now?
Alex just win in Sapphire City. Do as the
Alex
Saphirians
in
do.
for a hell of a day.
Yeah. Already have a fox with wings.
So, as you guys are smelling this, it smells similar. Like you've had coffee before, Alaric, especially if you've like been around any sort of working class people.
Oh yes,
especially
coffee, of course.
Dwarves and elves, like generally, just like as part of the culture, there are some dwarves that will drink or will tolerate drinking coffee. Elves just kind of like despise it. It's really acrid. It's not that great. But like gnomes, halflings, humans, they absolutely love coffee. This smells kind of like coffee. If it were about to punch you in the nose,
right? Okay, so I'll give it a smell and be like, okay, Skylar, what I would do is maybe take a bite from the cinnamon roll pastry. What was it called?
Yeah, it was a rolled cinnamon, but it's a cinnamon.
Rolled cinnamon. Is it rolled cinnamon? Take a bite of this, enjoy the sweetness, and then take a sip of the magic potion with me. Cheers. Click.
Okay, and I'm going to need Alaric and Skyla to make Constitution saving throws.
All right.
Sounds about right.
Skyla suddenly bounces off all the walls. Ding, 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 ding.
Literally.
So, Alaric, it's pretty strong. Like you've had some coffee before. This stuff, it feels like they took about 12 cups of coffee and crammed it into one, and then somehow crammed just like the most delicious mixture of flavors in with it. There's some kind of like oils or something that's in there that just like really set it off. You feel kind of awake.
All right. Does it cure Skyla of her exhaustion?
Skyla, on the other hand, this hits you like a freaking ton of bricks. You are just immediately like spun. Like this hits the bottom of your stomach. it's like in a Fast and the Furious movie when they hit the nitrous button. Skyla there is no delay here. This is not a slow burn. So essentially, Alaric, you have the effects of a long rest. Skyla, you have the effects of a long rest for about 30 minutes, and then you have another point of exhaustion because you crashed from
Oh
no! So you zero back out at 1, but you think with some getting used to it,
That's
maybe
funny.
you could tolerate this. So for the next about hour or so, you're just pinging off.
He's like, so go. You don't have to finish that if you don't want to, but
No, but it's so good. I really like it. I kind of
it's
like
really
how
good. I'm not keep chugging this.
I really like the cinnamon roll with it, and I'm just gonna keep drinking this.
I'm
Oh my
so
god,
glad
it's
you
so
like
good.
it. Awesome, fantastic.
She just doesn't stop speaking because
Yeah.
she doesn't need a break.
Like,
Alex
not
was kind of
even-
excited. He's out. This is fun.
Have fun with that one today.
Sir, thank you so much for this. This is really good and really tasty. And I might be back tomorrow for one, and I really want Nessa to try this because it's really good. And I don't know if Corn should try it because I don't know why, but I feel like he wouldn't like very much. But Kaylee should not drink this because I feel like she would play drums really fast, and I don't think I would like that very much.
All right, let's go to the expo.
See you tomorrow then. Yeah, so you guys basically head off to the expo, cinnamon roll in hand. The city's the city's a little bit more lively now. Skyla is not exhausted for the next hour or so. She has like -1 point of exhaustion.
Do
Alaric,
I get that spell slot back?
You get the spell slot back. You're
That's
awake.
amazing. That's ridiculous. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, so essentially, like, the way that I see Sapphire City is you wake up, it's like the daily grind, you're just like, oh, I'm so tired for just what I don't even know why. Really,
See
it's
why
from
that
the
coffee's so
innovation.
popular.
Yeah, and then you drink some espresso, you're good to go, as long as you can handle it. If you can't handle it, you're
Get
going
out
to
of the
crash.
kitchen.
Yeah.
All right.
So you guys head off very quickly to the expo. So when you get there, following the crowds, I don't know how many of you have actually been to like a really big swap meet of any sorts, but it sort of looks like that. There's a lot of small little booths and things that are set up with people kind of just like showing off little trinkets and things. There's a lot of people that are selling things. You see the dragons that Skyla had bought the day before, the like origami magical creatures. Did I miss something?
No, I just had like the nerdiest thought I've ever had. You're like, I don't know if anyone's been to Swamp Man. I'm like, I haven't, but I've read about one in Star Wars.
Oh.
It's like, I read about one where the Jawas swap things. I'm like, why would you ever share that with a human being? And it killed me.
Okay,
Right,
I guess a more appropriate would be this is more like a science fair. If a science fair was treated like a sporting event, is the best way to put it. So there are a lot of people that have their stuff set up to like show off, but because it's such a large gathering, there are also people that are selling churros. Is the best way to put it. Yeah,
Churros, I like churros. I really want a churro. I think a churro would be really good right now.
Let's get churros. So basically, what I'm going to be looking for in character is any enterprise that seems like it'd be a good investment for my family. Something that I could use, maybe a technology that might help us in our endeavors up north. Anything either canal related or otherwise, and secondarily looking for any technologies that might help us on our ship. Maybe if someone needs to test out beta magical technology, maybe we can get it like let volunteer our ship as a test subject.
Yeah,
but those are the things.
right.
Those things that Alaric is looking for at this expo.
Okay, so the expo is massive. I mean, we're talking like Comic-Con massive. This
like
it's
Disney World?
giant. It's not that big, but everyone, like, there are different booths. There are people that have actually scratch everything I've said up until this point. It's basically a convention. It's basically a Comic-Con with slightly less cosplay.
Slightly.
Yeah, so there are larger booths, there are smaller booths, there are the name brand people that are there showing off the next big thing, and then there's the indie developers that are there trying to get their stuff noticed. And then they have essentially in the main part of the auditorium on the main stage, there are set times where different people go up and they've got a time slot to like show off different things. So, all right, yeah. So, roll me a Roll a D100, Alec.
Right.
Just a straight D100.
Oh, I wish it had autocomplete. That would have been.
All right. You guys walk around for quite a while. You see lots of different things. You see a lot of booths that are selling a lot of kind of like trinkets and little like, essentially trinkets, like the things that you guys have. Like there's a booth that's selling things similar to the arrow of ancient elven design type stuff. The bardic quills. You come across like there's a stand that's selling pinwheels, and all the pinwheels are different colors and kind of like sparkle and glow, things like that. And as Skyla and Alaric walk by, the person picks up one of the pinwheels and blows on it, and as they blow on it, some sort of effect or something comes out the other side. So they pick up a blue one, and like cool air comes off, and it looks like almost like ice breath. And it's basically illusions of dragon's breath pinwheels is what he's selling.
No ice breath.
Okay. And then he picks up a red one, and it like fire just sweeps out through the aisle. It doesn't affect anything or hurt anyone. It doesn't even really feel hot. Like you kind of feel it's a little warm, but it's more just that like visual thing, kind of like tricking your body for a bit. It's very realistic looking. But
Skyla imitates Burbis. No fire.
That's very good. Have you been practicing?
I have. I mostly did it in my head because I can't. I'm having a hard time talking right now because I'm talking so fast. Why am I talking so fast?
I don't know. We're having fun.
We are having fun. This is a blast. I wish I had dressed up because there are a lot of people dressed up here, and if I had known, I would have dressed up. But oh well.
Well, maybe there's someone. Maybe there's someone selling something like costumes or something here that we can pick up while we're out.
Okay. Also, I want a fire pinwheel.
Okay. Well, I'll take up a fire pinwheel.
We're gonna blow it up, Burbis.
Oh, he's gonna
that
cry.
was for my own personal thing, but all right. It wasn't TTMS, so but it doesn't really matter all that much.
Burbis is gonna have a heart attack.
You guys do. So, did you say you were looking for?
I would like a fire pinwheel to prank Burbis.
I'll take a fire pinwheel, please.
All right. They're 5 gold apiece.
All right, I'll get one.
5 gold, sir. That's a lot of money for a pinwheel.
Well, these have quite a bit of magic woven into them, and they're quite difficult to make.
You can't put a price on fun. Here we go. I hand her the 5 gold, and I hand Skyla the pinwheel.
Okay. Yeah, and it blows fire. It's so essentially
blows fire
like,
forever because she doesn't need to breathe.
Oh yeah.
Fire forever.
That's amazing. So essentially, as an action, you can create the illusion of a, I think it's a 15-foot cone of flame.
Oh,
is what it is.
Snap!
Like
that's
it
a
goes
lot of
out.
fire. Okay,
like, and that's why they're expensive. Yeah,
I was imagining
it doesn't do anything. They literally create like a dragon wormling kind of fire effects.
Lord Almighty. Okay.
Yep. So if you guys, and as I'm telling you this stuff, I don't have any handouts for them. So if you put them, make a note of them, and put them into your sheet as you want. But as an action, you can do that once per turn if you were doing it in combat. But for comedic effects, it'll last for a while. So as you guys are wandering on a little bit more, you're kind of looking around, and you don't really see anything. Like there's a couple things that might catch your eye that you can invest in. So there aren't really enough things. So I'll say for Alaric, you see a couple things that maybe you could pursue, like talking, seeing about investing for your family, but there's also a couple things that might take your attention towards the ship, one or the other. Through your investigation, you don't see like enough stuff to like draw your attention to both. So which would you pursue? Just based on your investigation roll and how much you've walked around.
Oh, that didn't roll. I didn't roll. It's the ship.
Okay. All right. So you do come across a couple vendors that are selling various nautical supplies and stuff like that. automatic rigging, things like that. It does, it does the work of 2 sailors for basically with no help required, yada yada yada, this, that, and the other thing. Cut down on costs, all sorts of stuff like that. Magical anchors keep your ship moored in place, even in the dead of the dead center of the sea. That there are a lot of different things like that. Is there anything in particular that you're looking for the ship?
I guess life preservers. For
being responsible.
Okay, stuff like that. Alec doesn't like the water, man. He doesn't. So, yeah, safety related things is what he's looking for.
Safety related things. Okay, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that one. Yeah. So you guys walk around for a little bit more, and you come up to what looks like a tailor almost. And the tailor has all sorts of different strange looking shirts and designs and stuff like that, and they have a large pot of water next to them, and they keep throwing these different clothes in there, and one of them has a large what looks like a metal dummy in it, and as this thing slams down into this pool, the dummy actually kind of floats up on top, and it almost looks like the outfit that it's wearing isn't even getting wet at all. And they're basically selling what essentially is outfits for your sailors. Never worry about someone going overboard again. Da 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 da. Things like that. And they have essentially magical life preservers in the form of jackets and shirts and things like that.
All right. How much are those?
For you, I don't know, because D&D doesn't actually have real money involved. He says something like, well. We're trying to get off the ground floor. How many were you looking for exactly? We have a couple pieces that are in stock, but we're really here to try and just get more attention for them and kind of proof of concept them. I'll be honest. Most of the sailors that I try and sell these to laugh because they don't like the idea of being told that they need something to help them swim. I don't know.
Well, well, tell me, how much weight can this support?
Well, as you can see, most. Well, and he points kind of towards the metal statue. It's kind of metal bands that are roughly shaped. It definitely looks heavier than you.
Even with my full armor.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll start with the 1, and then I'll see. No, I'll have 2, because I think Nessa also wears heavier things, so it'd be good for her to wear as well.
Well, so how would you like that? Essentially, you could have either a belt or a cloak. If we're talking item slots.
Oh yeah, just 2 belts, I think.
Okay. All right. So you go ahead and get 2 belts, and
also my breeches keep falling down, so double bonus.
Well, with the material and things that required to go into this, probably looking around. I could let the 2 belts go for 300.
All right, you got it.
All right.
I have no gold left, but I put a premium on safety on a ship.
We are safety oriented. Yeah. So you go ahead and purchase those. 2 belts. Okay. So what? That did not work.
Life preserving.
Well, it's a bit more than that, but Okay, so
belts of party pooping.
Yeah, belts of party pooping. Essentially, the belts are belts of water walking, but
snap!
Yeah,
But
so
we don't get okay.
Well, so they're belts of water walking. Yeah, you don't have a handout for them. But if you're wearing heavy armor, it's like you're gonna move at half pace essentially because you're gonna kind of be like slugging
belts of
through.
Water waiting.
Yeah. Essentially, what it does is it allows you to float on top of the water, so you won't sink. Let's say.
Cool.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Which is also why it's so expensive.
Okay, that sounds cool. I could loan that out to other people, and I could do all sorts of cool things with it.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
A compartment for rations and a wand of dancing lights. I love it. Actually, one of the people that was previously in the party was had a sailor background, and he had a necklace that had a trinket that had well, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was called that I put in there, but it was essentially if you ate it was like a piece of meat that was preserved in a liquid, and if you like cracked it open and ate and drank it, you didn't have to eat or drink water for a full week.
I remember that.
And it was like the sailor's last bite or something like that is what it was called. Yep. So while you're doing that, Skyla, is there anything in particular that you're looking for there?
Not really. Just kind of exploring, looking at all the magical stuff because she's not very magical, so it's exciting to see.
Okay, so you're not looking for anything in particular. All right. So as you guys are walking around, it begins to pick up, liven up a bit more, and eventually there's like this kind of booming voice, not booming, but throughout the entire area, coming out of glyphs that are on the wall as they begin like announcing different shows that are not shows, different. I guess shows that are going to be going up on the main stage, and people begin showing up that aren't associated with it, like, you know, what do you want to call them, like spectators that begin showing up and heading that direction. If you guys wanted to head in that direction, or do you want to keep looking around?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. About this time, Skyla would probably be feeling like she might want somewhere to sit down for a little bit anyways.
Why am I so tired all of a sudden? Hold on. I just need a little... Oh, man. Okay, I'm okay. What? Wait. Let's just walk slowly.
All right. As you are all doing that, we're going to flash back over to the other group. So you guys are sitting there, and Bribus is kind of like lightly eating. There's some like fruit and stuff that Chandler had set out, and he begins kind of going over. He's like, "All right, so I've got a couple just run-of-the-mill sailors that are going to be showing up. Nothing too crazy, you know, people to haul things on and off the ship, get supplies, load them up, swab the decks down when we're out at sea. They seem decent enough. I didn't even really catch the names because who really needs to remember their names, right? Because they're just NPCs, and I don't care. No, no. He says they'll be showing up a little bit later on in the day. He says, first up, I've got at least one person that's told me fairly well that they're a pretty skilled rigger, kind of a bit of a smarmy individual that is really good with maps and that. And then I have a carpenter and, well, I believe his apprentice showing up as well. I think that's what he said last night. I had a little bit to drink. But I was taking it seriously. taking it seriously. But it plies the wheels of business a little bit. Um, and as he's saying that, there is a knock at the door, and trying to open up the first one. Who put in the carpenter?
That was me, I think.
Okay, so that's the female tiefling?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
so is this the one that wants to be a carpenter, or the one that wants to be, or is a carpenter?
I think I put her under carpenter, but I meant to put her under able-bodied soldier.
Sailor.
And she wants to be the navigator's apprentice.
Oh, it says currently. Okay, all right. So he opens up the door. There's a female tiefling that's there. Not as not similar looking to Silver. A little bit different skin tone, different types of horns, and wearing pretty worn down like workers' clothes. Hands look well worn, things like that. He says, "Oh, come in," and introduces her around. And basically, you guys are introduced to Farah Lost, who is just a run-of-the-mill sailor. Has basically been working the docks, trying to just earn a living and stay on a ship and keep moving and see the world. Has dreams of becoming a navigator someday and stuff like that.
I offer to shake her hand when we meet for the first time.
Yeah, and so she does.
I'm just checking for calluses, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's pretty well worn. Firm handshake, definitely someone that's worked for a large portion of her life. So.
Okay, Nessa's satisfied.
Okay.
She's also a bard.
All right. And the day kind of continues on like that. You guys meet a couple more as you're talking. There's probably a couple things that put you a little bit off or at unease about them, or Bribis after talking with them a little bit more at length. And for those of you that are sitting there, you guys are asking questions, trying to get to know them, and Bribis will come in with something else very specific to, like, which ports have you sailed out of? Who did you sail under? What was the last ship that you were on? That sort of stuff. And there's a couple of them, like with Farah, for example, and she answers, boom, boom, boom. There's a couple people that they kind of hesitate or they tell him so, and he's just like, oh, all right, well, thank you, and kind of sends them on their way. And then he'll explain to you just like, oh, well, I know this captain, I know this person, and the crew that they keep is not exactly da-da-da-da-da, and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of inside knowledge there. Kaylee's hounding them all as well with you. I'm getting like 7 million messages from different people.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. So what I'm gonna do is, so whoever introduced or whoever created the character, I'm gonna let you do it because you guys know more about them so far than I do. So the next one that you guys come up to. After a few hours, you've gone through a couple of able-bodied sailors. You have at least one Farah that's going to be on the ship with you. There's probably one or two others that you've come across and talked to, and eventually the navigator shows up. And
about this point, I'm leaning over to Kaylee and I'm like, I should probably get going really soon. Like, I think I need to get back to the university.
You might want to.
I know.
After and then there's a knock on the door, and the navigator and Burr says, "Oh, I think that's," and he gets up and answers it, and at the door is, and I believe that was Stephanie. So you can go ahead and introduce.
It was indeed. So you see a fairly tall, olive-skinned wood elf with a dark hair and very blue eyes. He introduces himself as Beauregard Waller. As soon as he sees Nessa, though, he kind of winks at her and goes, "But you can call me Beau." Anyways, he's going to be our new navigator. He grew up on a fishing boat, took care of his parents in a small town. He was adopted by humans, even though he's an elf, and worked his way from fishing boat to a large vessel that he navigated all over the sea. So yeah.
All right. After that, little soiree. Does Nessa still want to leave, or?
Yep. She's just gonna leave.
Okay.
Bye.
So, you go ahead and head on your way. And Corin and Kaylee are left. Corin, did you want to stay there and continue on doing that, or?
Yeah, I'll stick around for... Yep, I'm gonna stick with it.
Okay. I believe the next one is the rigger, which, again, a little while later, you guys probably have lunch at this point. You've probably talked to about 15 or so different people about different positions on the ship, and you've come away with 2 or 3. And then we'll go ahead and, Lindsay, you can introduce the rigger.
Okay, so when the rigger walks in, it's basically this short, obviously short because it's a dwarf. It's this stocky woman with this awesome, luxurious, like well-kept beard. She's a brunette. She very obviously has the musculature of someone. What? What did I do?
She's a brunette.
She's a brunette.
It was just the way it was said. It was just like, here are the rigger's qualifications. She's pretty stacked. She's a brunette.
She's a brunette.
It was like the most chauvinistic introduction.
I'm just trying to remember the picture, okay? And I'm trying to describe this person.
Picture's there.
Oh, there she is, everyone. She's very confident. Borderline cocky, but she's also very charming. She obviously loves her work, knows what she's doing. She's very just affable, very amiable, getting to know people, very personable.
What's her name?
Oh, Dagny.
Thank you.
She's a brunette.
Dagny.
She's brunette. She's got a luxurious
Is she
beard.
human? All right. So with that, and then I believe that there's just the carpenter that's left that you guys have written for, right?
I put a potential captain if none of us wanted to be captain. But
All
we
right.
never.
So you guys go ahead and you meet the. I'll say you meet the potential captain, but it's a conversation that's like tabled for talking about it later. So if you guys wanted to introduce him, or her, or them.
The captain?
Yes.
Yeah, I made. It's like super simple. He, Captain Donovan Clearwater, who is a half orc, has been sailing since he was young. He knows Captain Nostus and has raced against him and lost miserably, but kept it all in good fun. He's super jovial. He loves to gamble, but he hates drinking.
Corin's soul. All right. And then I believe the last one was the carpenter.
Which is going to be
Ponderous.
for Ryan.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Do you have a link for us?
Yeah, I got it.
Ponderous.
Got to scroll down a little bit to get to him. He's on page 5.
I love him so much.
Me too.
Is it the Khajiit?
It might be.
No, it's a tabaxi.
That face, Ryan.
Ryan
No.
found the pictures, so he's going to have to make something
Make
up on the
something
fly.
So this is a carpenter.
Ponderous Herren likes wood.
The end.
That's it.
You see Bribis. Bribis is literally like taking a drink, and he just he can't quite hold it in.
Yeah.
Begins asking him some questions: which ships he served on, where he learned his trade, things like that. Makes scratching posts awesome.
Ponderous Herren has served on many ships.
what could you what could you show us of your work that would convince us that you would be qualified to put the safety of our ship in your hands?
And he produces a wood-carved flute that is incredibly well crafted. And then he said, like, this right here, do you see the craftsmanship? And then he smashes it over his knees, like, it's garbage. I can do much better than that.
It's terrible. I would never do anything like that. Rivers, Rivers, who is essentially me, is literally on the floor. He's just like, I'm sold. I'm sold.
No more questions. He's hired.
It's amazing. I'm done. All right. So Corin, who probably hasn't flinched during this whole thing.
He's just spocking it up.
Corin casts mending on.
No, I don't have it.
Actually, no, wait. That was the pretty good one. Where's the crappy one?
It's like, Ponderous Heron may have oversold his qualifications.
They have fluffed his resume.
That was good.
I meant this one, and
I liked it.
Wonky. That was good. No, that was good.
Oh gosh. Oh, he can never die, you guys. Ever.
Ponderous walks out. The sign falls on him, and in his dying breath, he says, "I did not hang that." So that is the crew as we know it today. The peoples that have had about 3 or 4 sessions to fill this out will have to finish.
Or start.
For Nyessa.
Yes?
Yes, for Nyessa. You make your way over to the Arcane University, leaving behind those in the bar. And Corin, if there's anything that you wanted to do before wrapping all that up. Oh, all right. The rest of this stuff it takes you a little bit into the afternoon. It's not like evening or anything. You're probably looking at like 2 or so when this is all done and wrapped up. You've eaten breakfast and lunch there. Ribis kind of like had it all set up and arranged. You walk away with the about 4 or 5 members that you're kind of interested in and talk with Kaylee and stuff about it. After that, if there's anything that you want to do in the town, you can. Nyessa will be heading off towards the Arcane University, and Alaric and Skyla are settling in to watch some of the Expo's shows that are starting up around midday.
Just trying to figure out what I can do to investigate my mysterious new green light more. Whether or not I want to go to the university for that, because clearly there's some kind of magic studies going on there. Because there hasn't been much contact with the Feywild other than what we did, so...
For some time, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, probably just go try and find a park to walk through or something, and just see what else I can learn about it. Maybe spend some time with the Archdruid's journal.
Okay. So yeah, you find a nice little park area. And it's kind of quiet, secluded. There's a couple people that are studying off in the area, like in different areas of it, out on the lawn stuff. But you find a nice, quiet, shaded little section of the park, and settle down and begin studying away. How are you going about trying to figure out more about what's going on?
So I've deduced that it's possibly related to shape changing. I want to see if I can do any kind of shape changing without tapping into wild shape. See if that gets any kind of response.
Okay. Go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
It's no bonus, so come on.
Nope.
Ooh,
All right.
boy.
So you as you're sitting there and you're kind of like focusing on it and looking around, it seems almost like whatever that little effect was, it is really about the extent of it is kind of topping off the healing bit of it. You don't really notice anything else beyond that. It almost seems like as you recall it almost recalls instantly this kind of like effect to like heal wounds beyond the magical healing, like the scars and stuff go away. It disappears. So, all right, yeah. You don't learn anything else beyond that. Basically, the way that it recalls and so quickly, it reminds you of like your other cantrips. It's almost like second nature to you. So, at will, you can do this effect. It's kind of just like healing magic. You do know that there's other things that are hidden there, but you haven't quite figured them out yet. You can spend some more time studying it. That's just like your first attempt at it. If there's other stuff that you wanted to do.
Yeah. I guess in terms of something more specific in the journal is the use of shape changing or like alter self and be shaping for healing, if there's any kind of notes on those uses.
Okay. Go ahead and give me just a straight D100 and we'll see what the journal comes up with.
Oh.
Ooh. Hey. Flipping through the journal, you don't see too much. You have, as you kind of flip through it, you do come across a couple other things involving people pulling up on the Feywild magic for other things. And one of those is like the transfer of energy. You come across something like that. It kind of just piques your interest a little bit, but it doesn't really go into too much detail about it. Other than that, not too much.
Okay.
That's it?
For now.
Okay. All right. Okay. So Nessa, as you arrive at the university and you kind of head downstairs, you hear it's later on in the day. You hear kind of like pacing back and forth and someone muttering inside of Archibald's office. It sounds like he's kind of like talking to himself. And he's like, "Oh, it's just here somewhere." Picks up books, bangs it down on the desk and stuff like that. You hear this as you're approaching.
I wait for a relatively quieter moment, and then I knock.
All right. Come in.
All right, then I'll go in.
All right. So as you open it up, he's kind of just like mussing about, kind of doing stuff. The top of his desk is actually probably the cleanest that you've ever seen it. The crystal that was there, that was sitting on that you had basically charged, is sitting on the desk, and it's kind of just glowing this like bright luminescent glow, similar to that magic that you've seen when you call upon your pact weapon. And as he's sitting there and he's kind of studying it, and he's like, "Oh, yes. I was just finishing up some stuff. But please join me." And he's writing down notes and various things like that. And he says, "How have you been? Or did you sleep well?"
I mean, yeah, as well as can be expected, being here.
Okay. All right, well, let's go. And then basically he like gathers up his stuff, and you guys go across to the other hallway. And as he's doing so, he's like, it's quite remarkable. I don't think that I've actually come across a magic quite of this flavor. It's very interesting. And I'd love to hear more exactly about like your use of it and how you've like discovered your powers. I know we've talked about where it came from, but when it's come up and the things that you've used it for specifically and any reaction that it's actually had and he's just kind of going on and kind of like hounding you for questions. He says, it reminds me of some cleric magic that I've come across, but it doesn't. It's not quite the same. It's more raw and unrefined. It's not exactly like given out in quite the same way. It's interesting, and there was something else that just a hint.
Yeah, does it always change color, the stone?
No, not typically. Sometimes you get that in certain people, like Genasi, for instance. They might get mixed essences that crop up, but typically no. Do you? This sound a little strange. Do you have any Genasi or anything in your family, or Jin?
I mean, not as much as I know.
What about?
I don't know much.
I mean, nothing stands out. It reminds me. I've read a little bit about it, but I haven't had a chance to actually do any study on it myself. But it reminds me a bit of like a dryad magic or something of that nature. Kind of, there's a hint of druidic almost in it.
Well, I mean, I hang out with the druid a lot now.
I mean,
but...
like hang out.
Yeah, like friends.
So nothing more. I mean, because if there was a child involved, then it could potentially.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, the only magic I've ever done is it's that really fleshy, bright stuff.
Well, I mean, it's almost as if there's something else there that's influencing it, because very clearly there's the natural magic that you have, but there seems to be something else that's it's almost latched on, and as I've been studying it through the night, it's almost as if that's becoming more present as time goes on.
Well, I haven't noticed anything.
I mean, have you been anywhere recently that you might have?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I think back to the waiver I signed. And, like, did it... I don't know. I'm trying to, like, weigh the pros and cons here. So, Professor?
Yes.
Let's just say I went somewhere really magical.
Like
for
Sapphire City? Or
no, like more than that. We were there for I don't know how long, probably a few days. But it was hard to tell. Meaningful look.
I mean, well, where exactly are you talking about? Like another city somewhere?
Professor, are you gonna like report me to the authorities by chance? For any reason?
That's a pointed question.
Yeah.
Do I need to?
I'd really rather you didn't.
All right.
Accidentally, briefly, may have gone to another plane because I work with the Maelstrom Patrollers, but we came back and it's yep.
Well, I mean, typically traveling to one of the elemental planes is not gonna affect you in this way. It's fine. I mean, if you came into anything like into contact with something very specific, it might.
Professor, how much can I tell you before, like, you report me to the authorities?
Well, I mean, you signed a non-disclosure agreement, which means I can publish the findings, but I can't relinquish your name, so I guess there's some level of confidentiality there?
Okay. We went to the Feywild, and we fought an evil tree that almost killed me. Yes.
But no one's been to the Feywild for some time.
Yeah.
Has this been reported, or...?
Yes. We've already filed our report. Well, the Maelstrom Patrollers I travel with have filed their report.
We don't know much about the Feywild. I mean, there's some books that are here from a long time ago, but I don't see how traveling just from one plane to another would do anything in particular. And I mean,
it hit me with
direct
the seed
contact
pod.
with seed pod.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't.
I mean, okay. Well, we can study that.
We took some things out of the Feywild with us when we came back.
What did you take? I mean, contact with magical items can sometimes leave an imprint. I've heard of certain cursed items that can almost completely take over someone's mind.
I mean, we took a top hat. We took like a squirrel or a chipmunk.
Well, did you have any of these? Did you?
Actually, I have an amulet that we took from there.
All right. He
reaches into pack.
All right. He kind of puts his hand out.
Reaches into pack to get amulet.
And it's there, right?
Okay, takes it out.
Okay.
Gives.
And he takes the amulet and he begins kind of like looking it over. And he puts it down on the table that's there, and you see him kind of like chanting over the top of it again. He says, "Oh, this definitely wouldn't have done it. This is just an ordinary amulet. It's a bit old and weather-worn, but there's nothing here."
I mean, like I said, I haven't felt any different.
Well, let's keep studying. And he basically kind of takes you through the paces again, asks you questions, has you cast magic, and he asks you a little bit more pointed questions too as you're like casting. He tries and he manipulates the charge stone that you filled up with energy, and he like manipulates it to try and like bring that green energy to light. And he tells you to try and like focus on that and like resonate with it to try and bring that to the front so that you guys can get to the bottom of it.
Yep. To the root of the problem, you might say.
To the root of the problem.
Okay.
Roll a D100.
Ooh.
All right.
Maybe this is like a cleric and low is good. It's golf.
So as you're doing this throughout the course of this, at first nothing happens. You have this kind of just like every time you try and cast, there's light and there's another light and there's another light, and it's just more and more of this like overpowering light magic that's coming out of you. And then finally he says, "All right, well, let's try one more thing." And he takes the charge stone and he kind of just like chants a little bit over it. And he says, "On the count of 3, I want you to try again." And the charge stone starts to shift green, and he basically like drops it on the table, and it begins spinning, and it just releases a blast of just this energy kind of out. A bit of a bubble kind of appears around the table and contains it. As you're doing this, and you just are releasing that blast of energy that he keeps telling you to try and focus on, that green energy just kind of like takes hold, and you feel this, and something feels a little bit different. It's not that clean, crisp, just like light. You feel this old, deep, kind of earthy connection, this magical bond that you've never felt before. And as you just like unleash this thing, you feel something kind of like wash over your body a little bit. And as you open up your eyes, the table in front of you, magical and enchanted as it is, has leaves and vines and branches that are growing off of it. And he's like, "Oh, that was different."
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Never done that before.
Let's do that again. Try and focus on one magic first, and then another magic second. The light magic first, and he brings out 2 more charge stones, puts them on the table, and he's basically asking you to charge them up.
Okay.
So as you're doing it, it's easier this time. You expend spell slots, your lower spell slots, and you're warlock, so you just have to
my only spell slots.
You foom, and then foom, and you have a green and a white magical charge thing as you're doing this.
Well, this has been enlightening, but also more complicated than I expected.
Very much so. Please let me know if there are any changes that you notice or experience after that. It's something you've tapped into that you're not used to.
Yeah.
So, just be aware.
I mean, now I know it's there, and I know what it feels like when I cast it. So.
Okay. And you basically kind of like, okay, and then you guys conclude the session. It takes some time. You're in there for quite a while, but
right. And is that all my spell slots, or did it take 2?
It took 2 spell slots, and then the one from this morning from Innervation.
Right. Cool.
All right.
Hey, cool. I walk back home, deep in thought. Home to the ship.
Okay. Alaric and Skyla, as you guys are at the expo, waiting for the shows to start. The very first show that comes on, it's nothing too fancy. It's someone that's up there and they're talking about different ways to do like basic menial tasks like enchanting specific things around the house, and they kind of go into like a long-winded explanation of, is it worth the time and energy that you have to expend in order to enchant something, in order to make it do something menial, essentially? Is that worthwhile? And it's kind of long-winded. It's rather boring. Skylar probably at some point almost falls asleep to it. The next person that comes on is I guess you'd say like a middle-aged high elf, a little stooped. He's pushing a small cart, and on it is a tarp, and the tarp, the top of it kind of keeps floating and bobbing up and down as he's pushing up there. And you guys, as you're sitting there, kind of hear a couple chuckles come up through the crowd, and you see a couple heads kind of lean into each other and kind of like whisper things, and like, oh, yeah. And then people stop paying attention, and it's like when someone loses the crowd and they begin talking, and that kind of like rises up a little bit. This is happening as the guy's going onto stage. Like, people clearly recognize him, and it just seems like, oh, this guy again. As he gets up there, he begins trying to talk. So I'm here to once again go over my theories on the benefits of Frostbane and what they can and cannot do for the magical community. And the murmur just keeps on going up and up. He pulls the tarp off, and you see a couple people like, what? You see sitting on this cart are different chunks of Frostbane that are like tied down, essentially. And he begins talking about it, and he basically goes over. He's like, some time ago, I made an excursion and to the Frostbane Mountains, and I talked with a few members of the wonderful tribe that lives up there, and I managed to barter for some things. This was quite a while ago, but I got some pieces, and I've been doing extensive study on them, and I've been trying to, and everyone's like, yeah, we've heard your studies. I understand that some of you have heard this before, but I'm very passionate about this. And he goes over it, and he starts talking about it. He says, I think that Frostbane has a lot of untapped potential. Most people use it, and he's like, and as he's talking about it, he says, oh yeah, untapped potential. You're talking about an ice cube, mate. It keeps food cold. And people are like actively like kind of heckling this guy now. And he says, while we mostly just use it to keep food cold, I do believe that there's a lot more there to it. For instance, when charged with magical energies, it can give off a reaction. Granted, most of the studies that we've done into it have been with negative results of the explosive nature. But I've done a bit more work on it, and I found with help from very skilled jewelsmiths. And so you're making rings out of this stuff now. With very skilled jewelsmiths, if you can craft the frost vein into a specific shape that works with the magic that you're trying to punch into it, it will give you certain results. For instance, and he takes one of them that is actually carved down and looks very like shaped and kind of interesting, and he just like cast a spell into it. If either of you are proficient in Arcana, you can try and see what it is. No?
-1, so no.
Okay. You don't know exactly what the spell is, but he cast into it, and the spell just, and then nothing happens, and the frost vein kind of glows for a little bit, and then he like walks over and he sets up basically just like a board that has a rough circle drawn on it. The frost vein kind of sits on the table, and as he casts into it, it kind of like locks into place, and then he walks back, and about 15 to 30 seconds later, the spell's unleashed, and 3 magic missiles into this board that's next to him. And you see a couple people like, huh. Like, the crowd kind of calms down a little bit. And then he says, there's also the innate properties of the frost vein floating, depending, but it seems very dependent on the altitude that it's at. It will only float so far. As you're lower down towards sea level, it actually has a lot more resistance, which proves problematic for most places. When you're up high, it's easier to move around because it hits a natural buoyancy. But, and he pulls out a larger chunk out from underneath the cart, and it's carved very kind of ornately. And he says, but I've found that if carved in a specific way to harness the energies that are put into it, and he kind of just like closes his eyes and he channels magic into it, and it just seems just a beam kind of charging into it, the frost vein rises up, and then as he charges again, it goes down, and then he kind of just closes his eyes and twists his hands, and it kind of just like and moves very quickly on its own across the stage. And he says, I feel like if we could get some more funding into this program and possibly open up a bit more of a dialogue with the dwarven side, I've reached out on my own, and basically he goes into like a sales pitch of, I've asked for funding from the school, but it seems like anytime we've reached out to the dwarven side in the past 6 months or so, they have denied all trade of any and all frostvein, and we can't actually even get any to keep our freezers cold anymore, as some of you put. So I think it's a serious matter that we should at least pay somewhat attention to. And you see a couple of people, whatever, heckling him a little bit. And he kind of just like, any questions? Yes, he almost looks a little bit taken back, and he points to Skyla, the only hand in the entire auditorium that's up.
She's also standing up on her chair because she's trying to get a better look. So it's standing up and raising her hand. When exactly did you go to the mountain to get this?
Probably about 2 years ago.
Who did you talk to?
Some of the people in the settlement down there. I was maybe only there for about a day or so. Hired someone to take me up.
Well, did you go to the tippy top, or were you still where it was kind of green?
Still kind of green, a bit.
Oh, okay.
They had a bit lying around that they were willing to part with.
Okay, I didn't really go down to that part that many times. Well, okay. I guess that's my only question.
All right. Thank you. And he kind of like starts packing his stuff up and puts it away, and moving off the stage.
As he starts to move off, Skyla's gonna like, forgetting that Alaric's there, just like sprinting towards this guy.
All right. As he's kind of clearing off the stage, it like dies down for a little bit, and then there's a bit of an announcement that announces the next person that's coming on stage, and as the name kind of rolls out, they talk about Archmage Midic, who's coming on, and you hear a couple and like there's actual attention. People are kind of like adjusting themselves and sitting up a bit more and listening. So Skyla's chasing off after this individual. Alaric, what are you doing?
Following her. You're muted.
Yep. You guys catch him as he kind of exits the stage. As you're like there, he kind of like pulls his stuff over to the side as Skyla catches up to him. Later, thanks for hanging out for us. Hanging out for us with us. Thank you. Sorry, it's a bit distracting. So you catch up with him, like kind of like one of the exits to the back of the stage, and he has his cart and he's kind of pushing. And he's like, and he pulls it to the side. And as you're sitting there talking to him, this name is announced, and he says, just a second. And kind of like a procession of people walk by. There are quite a few genasi that are walking by wearing different types of armor. You see there's about 4 of them. 2 of them are fire genasi. There's an air genasi and a water genasi as well. And they're wearing light armor. It's kind of ornate and almost more for show than anything. And they're flanking... you guys would know this as part of the Maelstrom Patrol. They're flanking an Ifrit. He's one of the races that run the elemental plane of fire. They have a lot of trade agreements that go on with Valendor. The Maelstrom Patrol or the Maelstrom Temple admits them and has them come in and out all the time. They are in different areas, but they don't actually prefer it here. They prefer the plane of fire where they reside. So it's not unusual to see them on this side of things, but it's usually for very brief moments of just like keeping things. Yep, there you go. A bit more dressed than that, wearing what look like mage's robes, but very fanciful ones, kind of ornate, big shoulder pads. Lots of sigils down them in like gold silk kind of embroidery. Lots of rings, carrying a large like worked metal staff. It looks like some sort of steel mixed with maybe like a strange looking like black metal that you've never seen before, that has a lot of gems that are set in it. As he's walking by, the individual that you guys are talking to, Archmage, I don't know if you caught my, and as he's, yes, what is it this time? You've petitioned my office several times, and each time I cannot help you. I understand what you're trying to do, and I think it's very admirable, but I feel like after some time, you do have to just let go of what you're trying to pursue as a lost cause, and I'm sorry, but I'm very busy right now. Maybe one of the other archmages can hear you out, because I've heard you out. And as he's talking, it's this kind of flame, just crackling voice that almost, it sounds like a fireplace that's going almost. He says, "I'm sorry, but I must be going." And he bows just quickly to each of you, just a little bit of a head nod, and then he continues out on stage. The fire genasis that are in the back are each carrying a, like basically like a chest that they're following him out with. They have their glaives kind of slung over their back, and they're carrying a chest each. As he goes out, there's a bit of applause and stuff that goes on stage, a very different reception than the person that was out there now. And you see a couple people like, "Woo, all right." And he goes out and he's like, "Oh, thank you. I have something quite interesting to show you today. Something that we've been working on for a long time. both here and back home. It's been a joint effort with others of my order, and I'm very excited to show you all. And it kind of like murmurs out as he goes out on stage, and you guys continue to stay back a little bit behind the stage to talk to this individual. He's sorry, miss. What can I help you with?
Hi, I'm Skyla. I'm actually from the Frosty Mountain. I lived at the tippy top where we actually harvest the ice.
Oh, I should have known from your dress. I'm sorry. What brings you so far from home?
Well, I joined the Mountain Patrol because I wanted to. But I was just wondering if you know anything about why the dwarves are not letting any of the ice come over here. Because last time I thought we let the trade happen everywhere, but I know the dwarves kind of handled more of it because my dad goes and talks to the dwarves a lot because he delivers the ice to the dwarves. So do you know maybe why the dwarves are hogging it?
I'm not too wrapped up in the politics of it. I know that they were exporting it for some time to anyone that would buy it. I don't even think that the dwarves were involved with it at first. People were purchasing it, as I said, to keep food cold on long journeys overseas, to make sure that produce stayed fresh, things of that nature. And the past 6 months or so, it's been increasingly difficult to get any of it, and I was just informed not too long ago that there's actually a trade embargo, and the dwarves are not relinquishing any of it. I don't know if that goes for everyone or just for us over here, but there are quite a few politics involved that are a bit above me.
Yeah, I don't really know much about politics. I don't know what questions to ask. I just feel like something is not right. Well, how did you figure out that there's like weird magic stuff that happens to it? Did you just decide to one day cast a spell on it, or did you?
Well, no, it was just an area, something that piqued my interest, and so I began studying it and doing different things, and they weren't all the best tests. I nearly lost an eye to one of them when it exploded in my face, but and you can actually see there's a bit of a scar kind of like on the side of his eye. And he says, but it seemed like something worthy of pursuit. Most of us here take on different things as we're graduating, and this was one of the projects that I took on, but it hasn't really netted me the place in academia as I thought it would. But it is what it is.
Okay. Do the dwarves seem like they're being mean when anyone tries to get some ice, or do you know?
I'm not too sure. The ones that I talk to, the ones that I normally purchase from, just said that they couldn't get it for me anymore. And then the last time I tried to requisition some through the school, I was informed that it was no longer available. So I haven't had too much direct contact with them.
Okay, well, I don't really know what else to ask, so I guess that's it. But thank you for all of your information. I think I need to write some letters. More letters.
All right. Well, if you find anything else out, please let me know. And if I could, if you find anything out, please let me know, because it's hindering my studies, not being able to acquire any.
Okay, I can do that.
Do you happen to know any other people that they might have been selling with before this embargo happened?
There was someone on the dwarven side that I had actually exchanged a few notes with, a pretty accomplished wizard over there. He studied here for some time, so I knew him as a colleague. But I had been in contact with him and had gone over some of my findings with him when this first came up, and he, like everyone else, kind of told me that it was really going nowhere. But other than that, we fell out of touch, and I haven't heard much from him since he basically took part in the, jabs at my expense and my studies expenses.
What was his name?
Sorry, what was that? Let me pull up my notes.
It's all right.
Yeah, his name was Lurgath.
And do you think he really thought your research was fruitless?
I believe so. I mean, it seemed like I was getting that from quite a few people. As you probably heard in the crowd, there was a bit of heckling at my expense. Apparently, I am the chill box repairman or something of that nature to most people.
Well, either way, it's an honorable profession. But...
Well, thank you.
Scarlet?
I think that's it.
All right. As you guys are finishing up your conversation, you actually hear a bit of a kind of like sounds almost like a small explosion, and a lot of people like whoa and clapping, and there's a freaking bug just like right here bothering me. A clapping and like whoa, like the crowd kind of taken back a bit, and there's a flare up behind you as the voice of Middick kind of like comes out of the crowd. Yes, well, plenty more of that where that came from, and with some more study and research, something that will probably be widely available to almost anyone that has interest of them.
What
do you guys want to do?
We need some walkie-talkies.
Yes.
I say to the universe.
No, I heard you. I mean, the universe probably heard you too, because it's a lot bigger than me. But also, Alec, I know you haven't gotten any letters back yet, but maybe because I know your family lives on the Dwarven side. Could you maybe send another letter and see if they are getting ice?
Oh, yes, of course.
I know it might take forever to hear back, but we might as well just go to my mountain. It would be faster.
Yeah, sure. We'll find that out sometime in 2018. Yes. It's all right. Sure, I can do that, absolutely.
Okay.
Was my family buying from them?
Well, I don't know, but...
There's a good chance that they were.
There's a good chance that they were.
My dad knew your dad, so I feel like,
Did he know?
Well, I mean, my dad traded enough ice to know about your dad, to know about you, to tell me to find you. So, I feel like there was ice involved.
That logic checks out. Absolutely.
The logic is sound.
So, yes, do they, in addition to a post office, is there some sort of email that I could perhaps send a message to?
Yeah, as you guys are finishing up the day, looking around at the expo, there's probably a couple more things you could find. But if you wanted to check out one of the magic stores on the way back, specifically the one that you've already been to at least once.
Yes. Looking for walkie-talkies.
Yeah, so there's basically what's called a sending stone, and they're available. They're pretty pricey. Let me just double check what the name of the store is, because there it is. Written.
Hot topic.
Yep, written over owner of the Sleeping Hippogriff. As you guys head back over that direction, meet the person that Kaylee introduced you to, the person that Skyla sold off some of her magic items to.
I don't know this one, but Skyla leads me here.
he basically says, "Oh, we have something of that nature. The sort of sending stones. They're a bit pricey, but they're the range isn't the greatest thing in the world, but it should work if you're need to get in touch with someone that you routinely travel with that's in the area around you."
All right, let's talk numbers. How far? Right. How much?
How far? How much?
How many?
How many? Sending stones. I believe they cast the sending spell. Sending, I think, is what it is. It's a level 3. 25 words or less to a creature you're familiar. And I think that's what the stones do. Let me double check.
I am a Twitter master, so I can make 25 words work marvelously.
Right? Sending stones.
At Alaric Montefell.
Yeah, so while you touch one, you can use the action use an action to send the sending spell. The target is bearer of the other stone. Using sending can't be used again until the next dawn. So it's once per day.
All right.
Let's see. You can send them. The only problem. So. Okay. Across any distance, even to other planes. Okay. So. Range is unlimited. Yeah, so it's not short range. My bad. I misspoke. But you can only do it once per day. And there's a 5% chance the message won't arrive if the target's on another plane than you are.
So it doesn't work cross planes. It just works.
It does, but there's a chance that it won't arrive if you send it to a different plane. Recognizes you. So, okay. So basically, the way that they work is across any distance, and you can attempt to send it to other planes if the other person has the stone. And you send a message of 25 words or less, and they can reply immediately, and then the stones don't work for the rest of the day.
Okay.
And he kind of looks over it, and he says, those will probably run you about 500.
Do they come as a pair?
Yes, they come together.
All right. Should we get just a pair, do you think, Skylar? Or
how much
should we get 2? 500 for a pair.
Probably just one. 3 pairs?
Yeah, so that everyone has one, including someone on the ship.
That's 1,500 gold.
Yes.
But we also still need stuff for our ship.
So they don't work like that either. It comes in a pair.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the 2 stones only talk to each other. It's like it's like Dixie cups with a string between them, basically.
Yep.
I think just the one, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that if we brought some of our party funds with us, but we would run back to the ship, grab them, and then run back, and then pay, and then run back to the ship with the sending stones, if we can.
Okay. If you guys have that.
Skyla just
we have
along.
Lots of money.
Really tired.
Yeah, Skyla's pretty tired. All right, so you guys go ahead and pick up the sending stones. Is there anything else that you wanted to get? Oh, and when you're back on the ship, anyone that is there, because you guys have spent most of the day, so Nessa, Kaylee, Corin would probably all be there. They let you know what's going on. And
I'm working on Alaric's armor.
Yep.
Oh, it's looking great.
So if anyone else wants to buy anything, this would be the time.
We're getting these. We looked for some ship thing. Oh, I got you something, Nessa. It's right here.
What is it?
It's a belt, for starters.
Sorry, I didn't know what you were holding.
Okay. It's a snake.
Sorry.
She throws it overboard.
No!
It just floats.
It's a water moccasin. Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, I know that you and I tend to wear clothing bed is a bit heavier than others, and I thought
Yeah.
for safety purposes. And how shallow is the water where we're at right now?
It's pretty deep. It's enough that like most ships can come in and out. And you guys are one of the back docks, so.
Okay. So Alec is too chicken to try it here, but he's gonna go closer to the shore where it's not as deep, and is gonna put on the belt and show her but he's has a hand on the rail. He's not gonna on the rail, and actually he probably won't need to do it because he's not wearing his armor, but he's just gonna step on the water and show her how they work.
All right, so not wearing the armor or anything like that. You step on and you stand on top of the water. It's a bit disconcerting because the water's still moving. Your feet do sink down a little bit into the water, but you feel as if you're being almost held up by your belt strap. It kind of feels like someone's holding onto your belt and you're walking from the hips. It's a little weird.
Oh.
Yeah.
Low-key Reggie.
Oh. Maybe I should have gone for a cloak.
What's going on? I mean, that's cool, but...
What?
You alright?
No, it's not great.
Well, then get out.
Yeah, I think that'd be best.
Good to know it'll save our lives at the cost of a little comfort, I guess.
Yep.
Oh. Oh. Pat.
Well, anyway, this isn't quite the moment I thought it might be.
Maybe don't put it in your belt loops next time. Maybe put it around your armor,
Yeah,
so it's not pulling on anything.
I might as well just put it around my neck and be done with it.
Oh, jeez. Well, this is great, especially now that we're going to be, living and traveling on a boat. So thank you for your foresight.
Yes. Yeah, feels really silly now, but it seemed important at the time.
You know what? When this saves our lives, it won't feel silly anymore.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because
Anyway.
it's a win, not an if. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
All right. So you guys head back. Does anyone else want to buy anything while they're at the store?
Nah.
No?
This is not used to having money, so she has no idea what you do with money.
All right.
She's like,
I mean,
should we buy more
there's-
rations that are nicer, maybe?
Anything that you guys need? Do you also have stuff that you're looking for the ship as well?
Yes. Ship things.
All right.
Add to that to grocery list.
All right, so you guys go back, you get the sending stones, you allocate those however you want to allocate them. Go ahead and add those to your inventory, and then anything that you guys want to hand out for your items, just let me know after the session, and I'll work on that before next time. You all have various things that you're probably thinking on a bit. Corin, is there anything else that you wanted to do before winding down the day?
I mean, if I can try and make another check on the green light, but otherwise...
All right. Let's see. Go ahead and... Yeah, so as you're working on this, probably secluding yourself away a little bit, maybe going for a short walk.
Yep.
You begin kind of focusing on this light a little bit more and more. And it's not really... nothing's really coming to this. It almost seems like that green light, that kind of mending-esque sort of spell, doesn't really seem to have much to it. But you do hear a little bit of a chuckle in your ear. What spells do you have for growth, like plant growth, anything like that? Anything spell wise?
Yeah.
Not cantrip.
Yeah, plant growth, entangle. Bark skin, maybe. Ice knife. This is just in terms of what's prepared.
Yeah. So as you're kind of walking down, you kind of hear this little bit of a chuckle, and you feel your hand kind of like raise up a little bit, and entangle is cast, and it kind of like flares up on this small stretch of beach that you're walking down. Essentially, kind of just flares up and grows out all over the place. As you're like nearing this, it kind of grows up around you. Essentially, your hand lights up with green fire, and you just and all of the growth shrivels up and dies, and you see this green energy and suck up back into you, like almost like you've seen something similar to this before fighting the tree holder. It's like an innervation type of effect. As the plant growth dies off, you feel that energy that you've kind of expelled out of you replenish itself. You feel like that magical kind of that reserve that you've tapped into almost top back off.
Okay, so I essentially didn't use a spell slot for that.
You did,
Okay.
and then you regained it.
Alright. I'll just sort of mutter under my breath. Good to know.
Well, we did have an agreement. Use it wisely. Nature can give. You can do a little taking.
And I will just not give him any more response and start making my way back to the ship.
Okay. So essentially, as for your secondary boost, you do have essentially it's the cantrip that you've learned is a regenerative cantrip of sorts, but all that it's for is like clearing up lasting damage and blemishes. It'll work on any living material, so like a scar in a tree, anything like that, a mar in a boat. It'll as long as whatever you're not a boat because it's dead wood, but whatever you're touching is alive, you can use your basically your bonus action to cover it up. It's
so organic.
Probably
maybe?
Yeah, essentially it, it won't actually heal anything, but it will work for long-lasting scars and stuff like that. And then essentially what you have is the wizard's arcane recovery, up to a level 5 spell. Once per day you can drain an area of its life, like suck it out of the trees, the ground, the roots, as long as there is living organic material around you that is not basically not a creature. You can damage that to heal to top yourself off for 1 slot per day. It's basically the same thing. So it might be on a short, or no, it would be as an action because you guys aren't doing short rest stuff anymore. So.
Okay. That's a good thing you mentioned not a creature, because I was waiting for the moment where Corin tries that
like
on.
Kill someone. No,
Yep.
no. It's specifically towards natural things. And then the cantrip is if you can find a use for it, cool. But if not, it's more just something along those lines.
Okay.
So however Corin feels about doing that sort of stuff is how he feels about it. Because it's and judging by like how wide is an area of entangle also.
I believe it's 20 square feet.
Yeah. So it's basically like in a 30-foot circle emanating from you that you leech out. So looking around at the ground around you and the like dead, lifeless area that's left, you kind of feel that little hint of that druidic. So however Corin wants to proceed with that, it's at his disposal, though.
Yep. Okay. That's gonna be a thing.
Anyone else?
Just for the evening, or?
Huh? Who did?
Oh, he said that he couldn't see us anymore, and then froze. And
Okay.
I'm assuming his Skype is crapping out.
Yeah, well, on
Okay,
Skype right
well-
now, it just looks real weird.
Oh,
Or
on Twitch.
Because, yeah, I was like...
So
Alright,
are we talking before bed, or just like in the evening-ish
Yeah,
time?
basically, for the rest of the day, what do you guys want to do? It's coming up on where the sun's setting right now. Probably about time to eat dinner and do that stuff. So, to wrap out the session, Corin did what he wants to do. Alaric, is there anything that you want to do?
What time of day is it? What day is it?
Probably like dinner. Like, sun's just about to set.
Probably yes, but it's probably best to just not do anything and just stay. And I'll probably, while I was out, probably got some fish for the little guy, and we'll preferably live. Are there any like little minnows or something like that?
Yeah, there's a couple places that have some stuff that you can pick up.
Okay, so I'll get some little minnows and I'll put it in a bowl with some water and see if it can catch its own food yet. And I'll have some like backup actual not living fish that I can, or I mean, I guess I could just go boom and then just like take care of all the minnows. Never mind on that second part. So yeah, I'm gonna see if it can hunt for itself in little shallows.
All right, so yeah, you get the fish. It's pretty easy, especially near the docks. Put it in a bowl and watch as the little fox creature starts to like bat him and play with him. Like tries to bite it and gets its face wet, and then kind of like scoops some of it out onto the floor. Watches it flop around, plays with it, picks it up, throws it around, and eventually eats it. But it's definitely having more fun with it than anything.
Okay. I'll scritch its head just as it's doing this, encouraging it.
All right. And then for Alaric and Skyla, you guys start to see some new faces popping up on the boat. One or two of the people bringing their stuff aboard. First someone that has a lot of maps, charts, things like that. Moving in, picking up. Bribis said, grab one of the empty ones and kind of points to the rooms. And starts walking down.
Like if I'm near any of them while these people are passing by, I kind of make very small talk and just introduce them to everyone. Like, hey, this is Beauregard. This is Dagny.
Is this room all right, Nessa? Is that next to yours or?
I mean, it is available. Goes back to making armor.
It's it's good to hear things are available.
Yep.
Yay!
And it starts moving into that room there.
So leaves, just leaves.
Yeah. So you guys start seeing some new stuff. Nessa, anything else you want to do? Or are you just working on the armor?
Oh shoot! Did I forget? I totally had a thought. I would like to, just once I hit my stride with working on the armor, just start pondering what Archibald said. Like, do I feel different? Like, can I feel that weird magic? Also, whenever we have group dinner, exactly, Corin. Whenever we have dinner as a group, and if Bribis isn't there, and then the crew were there, or I'll just pull everyone aside before or after or during dinner and be like,
the captain's quarters is still pretty much empty. And
I'm literally going to move there now that Beauregard took his room next to mine.
Kaylee was sleeping in it last night.
Dang it.
No, I think someone talked about turning it into a meeting room.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
yeah.
talked about.
I'll just tell everyone
I
to
like
meet
that.
in the captain's quarters after dinner. And then when we meet there, I'll just be like, so I
I'm
just wanted
muted. The meeting quarters. Let's not even call it the captain's quarters.
The
so that
meeting.
The captain doesn't move in there.
Fair. The meeting quarters. And so once we get there, I'll just... So when I went to the university today, there were some interesting developments regarding my magic that I have. And the professor said that strange things are afoot. So if I start acting weird, or you notice anything weird, and I don't seem to notice anything weird, let me know, let someone else know. I'm concerned. That's all. Just wanted full disclosure.
We'll just bop you on the head like we did to Alaric.
I'd rather not get hit in the face multiple times, actually. So if we could, like, catch this, like, if we could nip this in the bud. So, like, if we could, catch this early.
See if we can uproot any strangeness.
Yeah, just weed it out before it can, take root.
Yeah, we don't want to be barking up out the wrong tree here.
Well,
want to make sure that we're...
Yes, if you're worried about getting hit in the face and any long-lasting damages from that, I may be able to help with that.
I mean, I'm not that vain, but it's good to know that you can do that, actually. So yeah, just as we were looking into my magic, it was weird.
What does that mean? What is it? What do you mean weird? What do you mean something ethical? What do you mean?
I'm not sure what you said there, but
Oh.
so like when I summon my weapon, it's really bright, and when I do my magic, it's like really, really bright, like.
So far, yes, following.
But like today, there was just like not that, and when he was studying my magic, there was like something not light, but like more dark green. I don't really understand it, hence I went to this guy, and he doesn't seem to understand it, so that's why I'm concerned. Like, at one point I cast something and, like, the table kind of erupted with, like, sprigs and branches and leaves and stuff. And that's never happened before, so...
You stepping into my turf, girl?
Boy, I don't want to. Can you, like, take it out? So...
But actually, would that ring any bells for Corin, perhaps, or...
I mean, it sounds similar to, like, druid crafting.
Yeah.
Like, similar to the stuff that you did for Evac's tavern, basically.
So he seemed concerned and said if anything happened or was weird to let him know. So I'm letting you know so you can let me know in case I get weird.
Have you noticed anything else?
I mean, I haven't felt any different. I mean, the only thing I had was that amulet from the Feywild. I showed it to him, and he didn't say it could have been that because there was nothing about it. I may or may not have told him we went to the Feywild, and he didn't seem too concerned. And by may or may not, I mean I did. I did do that.
Good to know.
So that's all. Good night.
What? What?
Or not. Oh, we're not done. Okay.
Are you?
I mean, if you want.
I mean, if you want to go, you're
Oh no, sorry. Are we
okay.
gonna have a discussion?
It's just
Yeah, we'll keep an eye. Absolutely. Just be careful.
Yeah, I'll try it.
Skylar, now that I've been able to clear my head, don't scare Bribus too much with the little thing that we got today.
What?
I mean, have your fun, but don't break don't break him.
What are we talking about?
Nothing, just a lark.
Just stuff.
I feel like we could use one of those.
That's
Well,
true.
when it comes, you will not expect it and you'll laugh a lot.
Well, then I can't wait.
Is there anything else? Because I'm really tired.
Is there anything else Skylar wants to do?
Probably introduce herself to the new people on the boat because she likes new people.
All right.
Especially since there's a giant cat person.
Oh my gosh, yes! Guys,
Fair enough.
we hired this dude. He's the carpenter, and he's hilarious. You're gonna love him. You can't miss him. He's coming.
I don't think you were
Nessa
there
was there.
in Kenneth.
I don't think
Never
you were
mind.
I'm sorry.
Rivers told me that I'm gonna love him. So I'm telling you.
Canonically, you weren't there, Nessa. Calm down.
You're right. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited.
You're not allowed to love him.
Sorry. I'm just putting that on hold.
Well, let's go see him together then.
Okay.
All right, so you guys go down. He has not shown up yet.
Oh,
Cats.
I know, right?
we love you.
He'll show up someday.
He'll show up soon. He says he's delivering a letter, and then he'll be on the boat.
Well, never gonna see him.
He'll just have a dead Aarakocra, and I'll be like, bleh. You're welcome. And then he'll like
Just like shimmies up like the mast.
Oh my gosh.
I like it. Other than that,
Okay,
if there's
well, then
nothing you guys want to do,
remember.
all right.
And then what about?
All right. So you make your introductions, you make your rounds. If there's nothing else specifically that you want to do, we'll call the session there.
I'm good.
Yep.
All right.
Cool.